what I see the largest aspect of this is soft skills. So communication, presentation, organization, everything that is going to be important at being an adult. You can grab some of that at Student Research Week.
Howdy, Aggs, and welcome back to On Air with Student Affairs, the podcast that showcases all the ways you can create your Aggie experience right here at Texas A&M. I'm your host, Morgan Miles, and I am the loudest and the proudest member of the Fighting Texas Aggie class of 2026, AAA. Whoop! And today we are talking with members from Student Research Week. Today we have Alex Watson and Samitha Mata. How are y'all today?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. How are you, Samitha?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Awesome. So can y'all tell us a little bit about yourselves? Maybe your hometown, your major?
Yeah, I'm Alex. I'm the director of Student Research Week this year. I'm from Morgantown, West Virginia. I'm a first-year master's student in kinesiology and sports physiology, and I'm also an analytics intern for the baseball team.
Ooh, fun. Fun.
I'm Samitha. I am the assistant director for Student Research Week. I am a psychology major, class of 2026, and I'm originally from Coppell, Texas. Other than Student Research Week, I also have my own organization, which is a Bollywood fusion dance competition, and I'm also an undergraduate research ambassador.
Awesome. Sounds like y'all are involved in a lot, and I would love to hear more about it. But let's talk about Student Research Week. So what exactly is it for those who maybe have never heard of it or just looking to get more involved?
Yeah, so Student Research Week is the largest student-run research symposium in the country.
Oh, wow.
In past years, we're looking at like 700 to 800 participants. It's a week-long event that pretty much is just built to display the research that's going on at Texas A&M. So any student can participate. And they get to decide what taxonomy they want to register for and present their research. So whichever their research best fits. And they can choose to do a poster, just like a normal poster symposium. Or they can also choose to give like a 10-minute oral presentation. And what I think is the coolest thing about Student Research Week is it's any stage research. So whether you're in like the very beginning stages or you've finished and you've written everything up, we would love to have you come and present. We also recruit expert judges to come, so it's beneficial because you get great feedback. And this year we're also giving out $22,000 in awards.
Ooh, wait, that's awesome.
Such a great opportunity just to have a first experience in presenting your research, because I think a lot of times it is a little bit scary to travel or to present somewhere that you don't know the faculty or you don't know the environment. And so we also have a lot of workshops throughout the semester that help students refine their research and maybe get some practice in presenting. And so then when they step into Student Research Week, they feel more comfortable in showing off what they have been working on for months.
So you mentioned traveling. Is this open to just A&M students or is this open to anyone?
This year, we're looking at expanding it.
Oh, wow.
This year, it is open to just A&M students, but that includes any system. So we have had a few people reach out coming from other campuses who would like to come. So as long as you're enrolled in a Texas A&M school, then you're more than welcome to present.
Awesome. So how can students apply or get involved with Student Research Week?
Yeah, so very easy. We have a website. It's srw.tamu.edu, and it's going to be the first thing that pops up when you open that page is registration. And really, it's just basic information on you, your major, your college, and then you do have to submit an abstract. But we are offering an abstract workshop as well for those people who have never written one or may need some help. We also have some templates up on the website. Do you want to talk about volunteers and judges too?
Yeah, so for students who may want to present their research and then also get involved in different ways, we also have a volunteer registration up right now. And that basically allows you to get a feel for what else goes on behind the scenes during Student Research Week. And so that form is also found on our website, and it's very easy to fill out. Just need basic details, your availability. And then we also have a form out right now for judges for Student Research Week. We're looking mainly for Texas A&M faculty members, and we try to have judges that are disciplined in the research that students are doing as well. But students can get judges that are in their discipline and also out of their discipline so that they can both get feedback in their presentation skills to maybe somebody who has never heard of their research before, and then also feedback from judges who have worked in that field and are able to give more informative feedback on the subject matter itself.
Yeah, I really think it's awesome that y'all are involved in this. So what kind of advice do you have for the student that maybe is wanting to get involved, that's nervous? Like, what inspired y'all to want to be a part of something like this?
Yeah, for me personally, moving out of state and going to grad school, it's expensive. So I needed a GA to help fund my school. So this is my GA. So I'm here. I do 20 hours a week.
Oh, wow.
And then I did research in my undergrad. I want to do research in the future. So this kind of seems like something that really aligns with getting more experience on not only like the planning aspect of things and the organizing, but also sharing something that is close to me. And it's important to not only a university that runs on research, but also just expanding knowledge altogether in the country. So that was really what was exciting for me.
And the way that I got involved was a little bit similar to Alex in that I also conduct research at Texas A&M, and I was a part of Student Research Week in the past. I was able to come and see what students have been doing research on, and especially as a student that went into research, I found it very compelling to be a part of something that helped other students feel inspired to start doing research. And I also think that in general, because Texas A&M, like Alex was saying, is such a large research institution, I think that this is a great way for the university also to showcase what all goes on within the university. And so I think those were the main reasons why I wanted to join onto Student Research Week. And I think so far, especially with Alex's commitment, it's been such a great experience to see what all goes on behind the scenes of planning a symposium, because I think a lot of the times exploring to be a participant in a symposium, you kind of forget the back end of things. And so it's been really interesting to see that aspect also.
So you said you've been involved before. Like, were you attending or did you present?
When I attended, I was just a viewer, but I do have a couple of friends who have presented at Student Research Week before, and they are the ones that I went to go see. And that's also how I got to see everything else that was going on. I also thought it was really interesting that it was a week-long event, just because a lot of the times symposiums are maybe a one-day event or a two-day event. And so to have enough research that lasts for a whole week, I think that's really amazing. And that's really what interested me in continuing to come the rest of the week and see what other research students were doing.
Right. I have a question. I really want to know, what is the, like, I don't want to say craziest, but like, what is the most interesting thing you've ever seen being presented? I'm really curious.
I think rather than maybe like one presentation or one topic, I think it was just really cool to see how many different disciplines of research there are. Personally, I do research in the STEM field, and so I really I know what I do and I know what people in my field do, but I didn't really understand how maybe like art history research worked or like literature research worked. And I also think that a lot of the times you don't understand the significance of research until you see people do it. So I saw a lot of people in like the humanities do research that really applied to things that are going on today, whether that was about politics or about maybe like simple things like philosophy and how that changes our worldview, things like that. Just, I guess, thinking about how how applicable research is even outside of the STEM fields was really interesting to me.
Awesome. I think it's really cool that you can pretty much pick anything and just run with it. And I love how it's just kind of open to one thing and not specific to like you said, like STEM or something else. Like it's open to like whatever you're interested in. And I think that's really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So for students that are really wanting to get involved, what can they expect before the event and during the event? Because I know you mentioned that there's workshops and things like that. Like how can students access those resources?
Our website. We also have social media too, which we've been trying to push some stuff out there. In these coming weeks before the event, Smitha has booked us for tabling and in Rudder Plaza and then also in the MSC. So you can see us around there, ask us some questions. Really, I think the biggest thing is if you have anything that's important to you that you're doing school related, you can present it. So even as a presenter, when I took over this role, I kind of was looking at what are students who aren't doing traditional research and how can we recruit them to come participate. So by that, I mean, I met with architecture, with the deans of architecture. And I was like, I'm ignorant in the field of architecture. So kind of asking them questions on, I know your students are doing projects, so they're designing buildings. They have meaning behind what they're doing. So how can they present that? Because to me, that's research. Like you're not going in blind and designing a building. There's knowledge behind it and research that's being done. So I think that's a way to look at it is even if you're just compiling other research and reading other articles, that you're still doing research. And so really any project that you're doing, you're more than welcome to come present. The other thing is the volunteers. We do need lots of volunteers, and we are giving out awards for organizations or individuals who clock the most amount of hours volunteering. So we're always looking for those. And then for the people who may be a little timid to either volunteer or to actually register, the workshops that I mentioned, the University Writing Center has been very generous. And they are giving us all the presentations and workshops.
Oh, wow.
So actually this Thursday, so the 6th, is going to be an abstract writing workshop. But then on February 20th, there's going to be a poster and oral presentation workshop in person and online.
Oh, that's nice.
And we are feeding everybody too. So
hey, come out. Free food. Free food, everybody. So why, obviously, this is very near and dear to both of y'all, obviously. So I'm just wondering, like, why should students want to get involved? Like, what is so great about this event that students should want to, like, go out and present their research?
I think that a lot of times students might think that you should only get into research if you are maybe wanting to pursue a master's or a PhD or see future in research. But I think a lot of the times students don't realize, like Alex was saying, like what they do in the classroom is also considered research. And a lot of jobs, a lot of maybe not traditional research paths also take a lot of skills that you need when you do research. So whether that comes to writing or presenting or just being able to communicate with people, all of those skills are very transferable no matter where you want to go in the future. And so I think that Student Research Week gives that platform to students no matter what their future goals are. And we're here to help students also hone these skills and help them be successful at our event. And so not only do we want students to attend, but we also want them to walk out feeling like they have maybe learned something or they are more confident in their skills. And so that's kind of what we're here to do. And I also think that even for students who are coming just to view the event, I think it's a great opportunity for them to maybe explore different subjects that they didn't maybe think that they were interested in before. Or if students are looking to get a minor in something, this is a great way for them to explore different disciplines that we offer here at Texas A&M. So I think there's definitely something for everybody. And that's where students can definitely come and talk to us and figure out what they want to do and what we can offer and how those paths can align themselves.
Yeah.
Can I also add on to that?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. What I see the largest aspect of this is soft skills. So communication, presentation, organization, everything that is going to be important at being an adult. You can grab some of that at Student Research Week. How I've been explaining it is this year I kind of shifted how Student Research Week is going to look, and I'm looking at making it more conference style. So I remember the first conference I went to, it was very overwhelming. And thankfully, my dad was in that field and I was with him. So that was comforting. But I can only imagine if I went by myself and walked into a conference for the first time as an undergrad, and I was completely overwhelmed. So I've been explaining Student Research Week as low risk, high reward. So it's low risk because if you're just going to look and watch, you can experience what a conference is going to be like if that's something that you want to do in the future. And you might learn something, which is the high reward on it. If you're presenting, it's low risk because whatever, like, so what? You go and you present and you learn more about it and you get some presentation experience, and the high reward is on top of the experience and the feedback, you also have a chance to win a lot of money.
Yeah.
So really the soft skills and then the practice is my biggest thing on how students can benefit from it.
I love that. I love the low risk, high reward. I think that's a really good way to like go about looking at it, because you really have nothing to lose, because you're gaining experience or skills in one way or another. Like you said, whether it's like skills in research or like skills in communication or organization, like things that you'll need for regardless of like whatever field you're going into. And so something you mentioned earlier is awards. And I know you said awards for like volunteers and things like that, but I want to talk about awards and what they go towards.
Yeah. So the awards, we've broken up, we're calling them taxonomies this year. So we have 11 different taxonomies, and you decide where your research best fits. So some examples of a taxonomy would be physical science. Another one would be engineering. Another would be architecture. There's a medicine taxonomy. So within that, to make it more fair for everybody, we have broken it into the taxonomies. So you shouldn't have an engineer competing against architecture.
Right.
Because
why?
Yeah. I mean, they're going to work together eventually, but very, very different in some points. So we've also broken it into your classification. So undergrads
really
are only
nice.
competing against undergrads, and graduate students are only competing against graduate students. And then we further have broken it up into poster presentations and oral presentations.
That's awesome.
So each taxonomy is going to have $2,000 worth of awards given out. That's what I've budgeted so far. I'm still waiting to hear back. So I'm hoping to be able to give out more scholarships too on top of that. But $1,000 is going to go strictly to undergraduate students for each taxonomy, and $1,000 is going strictly to graduate students for each taxonomy.
I love that. And I think it's also really comforting that you've like broken it down so much. Because like I can imagine like not only just being nervous as like either like an undergrad or like a graduate student, but like maybe even a freshman that like wants to participate in this, and they're probably going to walk in and be so overwhelmed by everything. But I think it's so sweet that you've like taken the time to like break it down for them. Because I mean, I know I would be overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But I kind of want to ask, I know y'all are involved in a lot of other things. How do you manage to like balance your time between Student Research Week and everything you do? Like you said, you were an intern and you have your own organization. So I have so many questions.
Yeah, for me, I'm early on everything.
Yeah.
So my bedtime's 10 o'clock. And my wake up time is like 5:30 most days.
Oh, wow.
First thing, exercise in the morning, shower, go to work. And then class. Really the only thing I'm leaving my office for is to go to class.
Yeah.
And then when 2 o'clock hits every day, I'm going to the baseball field.
Yeah.
And then after that, normally my goal is 2 hours a night on homework, but that sometimes doesn't always happen.
Yeah.
And then I always try to have 30 minutes before bed for me. So whether that's like reading a book or watching TV or something. I find that I'm most productive in the morning though. So the earlier I wake up, the more I'm probably going to get done.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's me. I write everything down. I have very forgetful. So my calendar is my best friend.
Oh, yeah.
And my to-do list is also my best friend.
Yes.
I'm still working on my sleep schedule. I don't think I'm as good with that as Alex is, but I think we're very similar in that my Google Calendar is like my ride or die.
She's big on Google Calendar.
I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow until I look at my Google Calendar, but I think like that is also what has helped me manage my time the most. I'm also a pre-med student, so sometimes school gets
oh my gosh,
pretty busy. So I think it just comes down to like prioritization for me. And so sometimes I have to maybe not be with my friends as much, or maybe I have to not sleep as much. And so it just comes down to what I'm willing to lose per week. Because you can't really do everything, even if you want to. You only really have 24 hours. But I think now I'm pretty good at managing my time and making sure that all aspects of my life are done and are done well. I also think that it's really important to understand what you can take and what you can't take. And like delegation has been something that's been really helpful. I think even with Student Research Week, we have a lot of different committees who work on a lot of different things. And Alex definitely has a foot in all of those doors. And I'm kind of there to help out wherever I can. And so that's how it works best for us and our organization, where we have people who are who have skills in, for example, like we have our PR team who has skills in creativity and design, and then we have our volunteer coordinators who are able to plan those logistics. And so I think just making sure that people are in places that they feel are playing to their strengths is really important.
Yeah. Freshmen, you heard it live. Planner is your best friend.
Yeah.
G-Cal is your best friend.
When I was hiring my committee members, my leadership philosophy, one time a coach at WVU said that he's not good at everything, and he surrounds himself with the people that can make up for the things that he's bad at. Like the organization thing, that is, I'm trying so hard in this role, but that's not my thing. That is her thing. So she has been killer on the Google Calendar and just making sure that everything is organized. So that's where she picks up my slack.
So Alex, you mentioned you are from West Virginia and you went to WVU. So I'm just really curious, what made you choose Texas? I mean, out of all places, not that Texas isn't great, but why Texas, and why Texas A&M specifically?
Yeah, so I want to work in baseball. That's the end goal. And I worked on Cape Cod a few summers ago for a baseball team. And one of my friends there came to Texas A&M. And I came to visit last year for the Alabama game and was completely blown away. So when I was looking at grad schools, it was definitely in my mind that maybe I should look here. And Texas A&M is actually a top 5 program for my program in the country. So when I saw that, I was like, I'll at least apply.
Right.
I could probably have an in for the baseball team, which is what I want to do. And baseball at Texas A&M is like baseball at no other school. So
absolutely.
I'm from Morgantown, so West Virginia University is in my hometown. My parents are both academics and worked at the university. So growing up, the university was my life pretty much. Gave me so much: sports, education. So an aspect of grad school that was really important after talking to my parents was that it was research focused. So growing up at an R1 institution, I really knew that I needed that for grad school as well. So, and I also wanted to leave West Virginia. Needed to see something else. Being there for 22 years was time to go, spread my wings. Yeah. So yeah, that's why.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think it's so awesome how like A&M had an impact on you from like a whole nother state. I think a lot of times we like to think like only people from Texas like really care about Texas A&M and like all the things it can offer. But like there's so many people like you who are interested in Texas A&M that come from literally everywhere. It's incredible.
Yeah, I was over winter break. I was in North Carolina at the beach, and I was wearing a sweatshirt, and some lady chased me down.
Stop.
And yeah, she was like, "Are you a fake Aggie or are you an actual Aggie?" And I was like, I'm an actual Aggie. And she goes, "Hi, I'm so and so class of."
That's
And I was like,
awesome.
"All right, I guess Aggies are everywhere."
They really are. The Aggie network is insane.
Mhm.
It's just so, I don't want to say weird, but it's weird how like you don't realize how many people are Aggies
Mhm.
until you just start running into people, or like I'll look at people's hands and like they'll have a ring and I'm like, is that an Aggie ring? And they'll be like, yeah, like I'm class of so and so, and it's just crazy. Like I don't know. It's like almost everybody I know has gone here, and it's such a small world. It's awesome. It's like a family. It's like everybody knows
family.
each other. And I think what's also really great is like you said, like that lady had no idea who you were, but like saw you in an A&M sweatshirt and chased you down and was like,
Mhm.
hey, I'm an Aggie too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love that. That's awesome. So for students who are just getting into research, why should they want to present at SRW? Like what's so special about it? And how can it be a stepping stone for students?
I think for a lot of students, getting into research seems very scary just because they might want to do things but don't know how to do them. And so I think the first step is just getting to know the faculty members here and what they're doing. And so a lot of students will be working under a PhD student or a mentor of some scope. So that could be a master's student or a postdoctorate student. And so whenever students are given the opportunity to present their work, I think Student Research Week is a great opportunity just because, like we were talking about earlier, it's a low risk, high reward system. And you also get the benefit of networking with a lot of other students and faculty member who are also doing research here. And that is a great stepping stone, like you're saying, into going into bigger conferences or presenting at other universities.
Yeah, I think to add on to that, I think research can benefit anybody, like no matter if, like what kind of research you're doing. I definitely know when I first started, I was a research assistant for a PhD student in my undergrad. And I'd grown up with academics as parents. So research, it was always, research says, research shows. But like once I actually got into it and started learning, like it's very systematic depending on the research that you're doing. But it definitely, like, I started to notice that, like, I was training my brain to think in a different way, like, in the systematic way of
Right.
doing research. Like, it really helps answer the, why are you doing it this way? What are you doing and why? And how is this going to get you to an end result? So even just, like, in my daily life, I started, what and why? Like, why are
Yeah.
you doing this? It should have purpose. So I think that's a really big part of research too.
That's awesome. So I have one last question that I want to ask.
Yeah.
And this is more of like a general question because I've already asked about advice for SRW, but I was wondering if you had any advice for maybe the incoming freshman or the transfer student that's super nervous about how to get involved. Like, what is your advice for someone wanting to get involved in college?
I would say, I always say yes, no matter what. Yes. And if I can't say yes, I'll find a way to say yes.
Mm.
And at times it's very overwhelming and I feel like I have said yes to too many things, but I would rather say yes and do it and then say to myself, like, I wish I didn't do that than to say no and say to myself, I wish I did do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, say yes. I fill my schedule up every single day, but I always take Saturday off. I don't do any school at all on Saturdays. So yes, I'm very busy, but I always take a day off.
I think looking back at my freshman experience at A&M, I think get into things that you know you want to get into. So if you have a certain passion or a hobby, there's definitely an organization here that is doing what you want to do. And if there's not, then create one.
Yeah.
And I think that for a lot of freshmen, it is really scary to get into like maybe the bigger organization of like the Flows or the more well-established organizations here. But I think a really underrated part of joining these organizations is you get to meet people who are doing all sorts of different things. And so I think like looking back on my freshman year, I was part of a dance team and I went into it for the dance, but I got out of it a group of girls who were able to help me academically, professionally, personally. And so I think that is also something that I guess people don't really think about when joining organizations are the people that are in it are there to help you and will help you get to where you want to go. And so for freshmen, I think, like Alex was saying, just try to get into something and get into everything that you can, especially freshman year when people are so willing to take you on and want to help you succeed at Texas A&M.
Yeah, I love both of y'all's advice. Your advice was great about saying yes. I think that's something I've like really picked up on my junior year because I'm a junior now. And it's like, yes, am I overwhelmed? Absolutely. Am I busy 24/7? Yes. But it's also kind of like, if I said no, like I would never know like how much that experience could benefit me. And so that's something I'm taking from it. And like you said, start your own club if they don't have something you want to do here. Like I remember, I think it was either Aggie Land Saturday or like my NSC. The guy that I had on my tour, he was like, there's literally like a Nick club. Like it's just a whole bunch of dudes named Nicholas. I'm like, it was just like the most insane thing ever. And it's like some guy named Nick just started it. And it's like, literally you can start anything you want to on campus. And like, there's gonna be someone who's looking for that and like also want to join, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Can I also add something?
Yeah.
I think for freshmen or like underclassmen too, it's important if you're interested in something to just like ask the question. Like don't be afraid to ask because just because you don't know it doesn't mean that somebody else doesn't know it. So more specifically, like on the academic side, I would say professors are your best friends and they want you to succeed. And if they can't help you, they definitely know somebody that can help you. So ask.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank y'all so much for joining us and talking about Student Research Week and how awesome it is. Thank y'all so much.
Yeah, thank you guys for having us.
Of course. For more information on how to get involved through the Division of Student Affairs, go to tex.ag/create your Aggie experience. And you can find all episodes of On Air with Student Affairs on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform. Thanks and gig 'em.